Hello everyone and welcome to New Beginnings, my everyday life in rural Cyprus. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. And let's have a look at what is coming up on today's live stream. So today we're going to be looking at another garden bird and telling you how to identify the bird and its nest and so on and so forth. We're going to have a little bit of gardening, some helpful things. Maybe you'll learn something new today about gardening. I think I'm going to talk about some herbs today. I think that's what I've got down to do. We're going to do some super shout outs. Got a fair few shout outs to share channels and things with you today. We've got tips and hacks, so you'll have to wait and see what the subject is of that. And of course, we're going to have a fun joke. So do stay tuned. And if you're watching this back later, don't forget to comment and say hello so I can come back and say hello to you personally, as I do everyone that is in my chat live. So that's what we've got going on today. And I will get into trouble from my friends if I don't do this. Just running across the bottom on the ticker tape, my PayPal, if you are able to help with my current situation, which is extremely desperate right now. And I'm possibly going to talk more about that on Wednesday because I've got some questions. So I said I'll answer questions on that. So I think we will talk about that on Wednesday. So do stay tuned and come along on Wednesday. And let's pop over to the chat. And we have our friends Steve and Tina Jewell here. Thank you so much for being here. And guys, do go and check out their channel. They are really great supporters. Okay, so let's start first of all with some of the shout outs. And first of all, I'm going to put in the chat. If you don't get these, if you don't get the chat later on, then do ask me for them if you want the links. So these are two channels I'm particularly fond of, and I do watch them a lot. They've actually come up as one thing. Let's see if I can split those up for you. So that's two different channels there within there. It's because I copied and pasted it, copied it earlier, but didn't paste it. So there are two channels there. So you've got Gav Retro 70s Kids 78. So that's one. And if you're into, I think, 70s, which I truly am, I really love all things about growing up in the 70s, then he has done all sorts of great videos. I've talked about them before. And then the second channel, which I listen to, is podcast, but you can watch it on YouTube. He now puts his podcast on YouTube, but I listen to the next one as podcast, is My 70s TV Childhood at My 70s TV Childhood. So that one, he mostly talks about TV of the 70s, particularly children's TV, but he does talk about things that as children we remember maybe our parents watching, and as we got older we began watching them too. So I would say that's my favourite podcast, but as I say, you can watch it on YouTube. That is my favourite of all. And he does quizzes every second week as well, quizzes, and there's different categories of his quizzes, all about mostly TV of the 70s, but the themes include different segments such as the theme tunes, and you have to guess the theme tunes, how many do you remember. He does different dates and then asks that. He's done a new section on the one I was listening to today, was watering with my 50 million buckets, and that was English TV programs that got sold to America, how they changed the name. So he tells you the American name, and then you have to say which TV program you think it was. So lots of good sections on that. And we have our great friends Two Doves, Bees and Gardens in the house. Guys, do go and check out John and Sarah. So do go and check out their channel. And as I always say, while you're checking out someone's channel, if you like what you see, then don't forget to subscribe. So have a go at that. I just jumped on. They were just before I was getting ready to sort my bits out for my live. I saw John was doing a quick little live, so I was so pleased I got in there. And that's all about their bees. They do other things. They do gardening things. And I did say the other day they did a community post showing how their peppers are growing. So I was really pleased to see those. So yes, two great channels that I watch. As I say, you can watch them both on YouTube. The first one, Gav Retro 70s Kids 78, is all about things like crisp flavours, foods, the 70s, and much else. And then the other one, which I do listen to as a podcast, but it is on YouTube, My 70s TV Childhood. And that's at My 70s TV Childhood. And that's Oliver. Really good. And today, Oliver, or the episode I was listening to today, because I listened to 3 of his while I was watering, and then I switched to something else. And the 3 of his I was listening to today while I was watering, he was talking about the English TV program, The Record Breakers, and he was talking about some particular episodes he remembered, and 2 of them were records that I broke. Yes, I don't know if you know, I have talked about before, I've broken 3 world records, and I was trying just before this to grab an article of it to show you, but Mike's got all stuff set up in front of the filing cabinet where I keep all that stuff, so I will pull that out in the future. I've got video footage, and so I will be going on to Oliver and telling him. Yes, I will be telling him. What's the snake for, Steve? Steve's got, I think that's a snake. What's the snake for? Oh, I must read things in the right order. Two Doves, Bees and Gardens says, just had to step out, take care of a venomous snake that the pool guys found in the pool basket. Goodness me, what type of snake is it? The pool guys were throwing a hissy fit. Very good. Now I know why Steve put a snake there. I was saying to Mike today, we just haven't seen any on our grounds this year at all. We've seen a couple up our rural track. It's high 40s here at the moment, and we're talking degrees C. And they're obviously not going to be coming out during the day, luckily. So copperhead, yeah, they can be quite lethal. We don't have copperheads here, but I do know of them. So so record breakers, if you don't know, they are actually 3 dancing records I've broken, but we'll talk about those another time when I've got bits and pieces just cooling off. Another shout out I want to give you today is for Anne Dale's Homestead. I was supporting Anne's channel when she had barely started her YouTube journey, and then she did one giveaway and her channel absolutely exploded. People went on there. Often people do monetary giveaways, attract people to the channel, but then they often leave again. And she is such a sweetie that obviously everyone who went on there did like what they saw. Her channel just exploded overnight. It really did. So I'm giving her a shout out. If I'm missing from your big channels, Anne, and others, I do pop in now and then, but more times, you know me, I'm after the small channels, helping them get going and giving them support. So if you're a big channel, I do pop in, but you'll know I've then moved on to some of the smaller ones. And obviously with this bucket situation, don't want to send off a bucket. I'm a bit tied up really, so I try and quickly jump into a couple of short channels, short videos. But I'm sort of a bit missing action at the moment. I hear it's cool over the Rainbow Bridge. Oh, talk of Rainbow Bridge, we had to get rid of a dead cat today. It's not one of our 4, but it's one I've talked about, and it comes visiting. And yeah, it was in a bit of a state yesterday, but you couldn't get near. It's feral, and yeah, today we had to dispose of the body. It could have been saved. Definitely couldn't be saved. Yes, so that is my shout outs. I will shout out yet again The Matrix, and that is if you've got animals, cats and dogs. It's a really great channel, The Matrix, and they show you there, it's all AI, how your dog would dress dependent on the breed, and how your cat would dress dependent on the breed. Yeah. John and Sarah saying, sorry, not fun. No, Mike went, he waited for me to get up. And he said, we've got a problem, got a dead cat to get rid of. And it was in a very awkward place. It'd gone in our battery room, our solar panel batteries. And I'm not joking, it's got a door on it, a wooden door, because it was originally an outside door to get into the storeroom. And so it's got a proper door on it. It's wood. And the top sort of bit is like where a big window would be, like, say, a back door. But on ours, it's got a grill, because obviously we want the air to circulate in there, because the solar batteries, it can't get through there. They're like little diamonds, like a big grill. And there was about this much, I'm not joking, probably about this much wood had kind of slipped. It's sort of slats of wood over one bit of it. It's got like the door frame, and then there's a few bits of wood. And I'm not joking, can't have been any bigger than that. And this cat is huge, and it was in there. So I said to Mike, it'd gone in there to die. We were sort of keeping our eye on it yesterday, and it went under our lemon tree for shade. We tried to put water by it and all sorts. And I said, it's squeezed in there. He said, I can't believe it's got in there. And we don't open this door, so it's not like we left it open or anything. And yeah, so I woke up this morning, he went, there's one in there. I'm not looking forward to doing that. And I went, right, get a barrow. And he said, well, can't we get a really big shovel? I said, no way can you move it, so big. So he got the wheelbarrow. I had to kind of get out from behind the batteries and lifted it in the barrow, and then he pushed it and let it go into the wilderness. So yeah, wasn't fun, but I'm a doer. It's funny because last night I said to him, smells like dead rats. Like, it backs onto our kitchen, but the kitchen's a proper window kind of thing. It's not an opening window. I said, I can smell dead rats. He went, no, I didn't think so. Yeah, obviously it died last night. So yeah, that was my job this morning. So what else? Yeah, so that's basically channels to look at. As I say, I'll be talking more about my situation possibly on Wednesday, but for now, let's get on and let's do, is it Monday? So let's do this. Okay, so we're going to talk today about money saving ideas for our tips and hacks today. And I have 4 for you. The first one is turn old wire lampshades into hanging plant holders. Attach 3 short lengths of chain to the upside down frame. And I've used before plate racks, I don't know if you've seen them. They're not quite triangular, but you can fit them in a back corner of a cupboard and you stack plates. So you've got a wide bit on the bottom and then a smaller rack for smaller plates and then a smaller rack on the top for saucers. And I've used those as plant holders in the past. Next one is use an old fridge as a cupboard in your garden shed or garage. Make sure any locks are removed. Well, Mike's done that. He's put our old fridge freezer in the battery room. The next one is convert an old water bottle into a useful garden kneeler. That's quite a good idea. Cut off the neck, fill the bottle with torn rags or old tights, and sew the ends together. I haven't heard that one before, so that's quite a good one. I like to hear different ideas. And then the last one is keep used oil from your chip pan for greasing garden tools. So I like the water bottle one. That's pretty cool. I like that. Hey, Blue's here. Blue saying, sorry I'm late. I tell you, Blue, you're never late. So guys, do go and check out Blue Self-Reliant, and Kind Old Blue is the one who set up the GoFundMe. So if that's an easier way for you to help me, then that will be awesome. And when I remember, I do put that link in the comments under this as a pinned comment, so it will be there if I have space. You know my issues. I think on Wednesday I talk about the court issues as well. So I think we do a sort of sad catch up with all my circumstances going on that I'm just dealing with. As I always say, when you go and check out someone's channel, then do hit that subscribe button if you like what you see. Okay, let's go on. Let's have some fun times. So let's go on to this. So it says, Adam and Eve used to walk about in the Garden of Eden. One day, God said to Adam, when you walk with Eve, I want you to go hand in hand. What does hand in hand mean? Asked Adam, and an angel explained it to him. A little later, God said, that's very good, but now you should walk with your arm round Eve's waist. What is a waist? Said Adam, and the angel told him. Later again, Adam was told he should now kiss Eve from time to time during their walks. What's a kiss? Said Adam, and again the angel had to show him how it was done. So the day came when God said, splendid, my children, now go forth and multiply and replenish the earth. But the next morning, Adam was back again. What's a headache? He asked. Did you like that one? I thought that one was quite good. I thought that was very good. Funny one. You did that one. Oh dear. Let's have a look. Good, you like it too. Excellent. Okay, let's go on to this. So I've been reading about herbs, and it says herb gardens need to be carefully planned if they're to be attractive. Primarily, a herb garden is a place for growing herbs for the kitchen, but it should also be a peaceful haven where the scents and colours of the plants can be enjoyed. However, it's worth remembering that a well-maintained herb garden needs more attention than a vegetable plot. You could have fragrant apple mint, ginger mint, an apple archway in or rose archway in. You can have lovage, green basil, purple basil, a standard bay tree in the middle, underplanted with thyme, curly leaf parsley, flat leaf parsley, spearmint, did I say spearmint already? Sage, borage, chives, rosemary, and surrounded perhaps with a box hedge. And you can make them look really pretty. Look at that, isn't that delightful? But we all wish we had that sort of look in our garden. So all what I read out to you is those plants. And yes, if you're doing a proper herb garden, it needs to be very attractive for the eye. Many people regularly use a large number of herbs. Most of the gardeners who maintain herb gardens do so because of their romantic associations. There is no doubt that herbs are romantic. This is particularly their history and partly the atmosphere they create in the garden. Herbs tend to be gentle plants, and only occasionally do we come across brash ones. The colours are muted and soft. The atmosphere they create is hazy. On summer days, the garden is perfumed by their scents and is drowsy with the sound of bees. This is the perfect garden in which to sit and relax, so you should remember, include a seat in your design. But that design I just showed you didn't. It's a bit fancy. It's beautiful though, isn't it? That's when you go to stately homes and they have a herb garden, and many gardeners indeed. Where's that come up now? This site has coupons. No thanks. Oh my goodness. The stuff that keeps coming up on my computer. It's doing my head in. Important culinary herbs: basil, bay, chives, dill, French tarragon, lovage, mint, parsley, rosemary, sage, and thyme. Lou says, my garden is the size of that whole space. My house is in the middle of it too. Steve says, once you built that herb garden, I need a good rest. Oh, that's why you need the bench. You need the bench. If you could only grow one herb, what herb would you grow? Or if indeed you do grow herbs and could only keep one herb, which herb would you keep? I must say, I do like the smell of basil. I have a lot of basil. I have Italian basil and whatever the normal basil is. Thyme, says Blue. Mint, says Steve. Any particular mint, Steve, or any mint? Thyme, yeah, I love the smell of thyme. I need to know more what to do with thyme, really. I have a lot of rosemary. I do like the smell of rosemary. Probably basil, lemon basil. I have lemon basil and I have normal basil. And it's saying if you're working on a larger scale, almost any pattern mentioned are suitable for potages can be used. It's worth mentioning the only time of the year when the internal divisions of the garden will be clearly seen is in the winter, when the vegetation has died back. During the growing seasons, the lush growth will be such that the outlines of beds are not easily seen. If you want to see them, edge the beds with low box hedges, which will also give a good definition to the overall design. Steve saying spearmint or any mint for tea. I don't do mint tea. I don't like mint tea. No, not mint tea. The most frequent used herbs should be placed as near to the kitchen door as possible so the cook can grab a handful when necessary. This means that either the herb garden should be located here or the important herbs should be mixed in with other plants as a decorative border. Another solution is to grow those particular herbs in a container or containers, which can then be placed near the kitchen door for easy access. So, yes, other herbs. I can't get hold of sage. I did grow dill this year and it got caterpillars, and I cover everything that gets caterpillars. Didn't realise they would be attracted to the dill. So lost the dill along with everything else. Oh well, never mind. Oh dear, it's like a plant graveyard in my garden now. Doesn't help that we've got this intense heat at the moment, so normally you might lose a few things anyway, but there you go. Bless you, says Blue. Blue's house sounds perfect for a herb garden and the chef. Yes, I learned a lot about herbs from Blue. Didn't know too much about herbs. It's not bad, mate. Oh dear. Okay, let's go on to this. So we're looking each week at another bird, and today we're seeing what we know. We're learning more about the blue-tit. Blue-tit. The blue-tit is one of the most delightful birds to visit the bird feeder because of its bold, perky behaviour and its skillful acrobats it performs on nutbags and tip bells. One of the most frequent users of the bird table. The blue-tit is credited with high intelligence, partly due to its habit of investigating new sources of food and using a dexterity of foot and beak to obtain them. Studies with ringing birds have shown that over 100 blue-tits may visit a garden in succession, although only a few can be seen at one time. Not many travel more than 6 miles in their daily round, although some migrate over 60 miles, 60, from their summer breeding grounds. You can notice them by their blue wings. You can tell blue-tit by the bright blue on its cap and wings. Juveniles are generally duller and have yellow cheeks. Fast food. The content of your nutbag decreases rapidly if blue-tits can pull out the whole peanut and carry them away where they will eat at leisure. Voice. The blue-tit song is a yeah. Calls can include a thin noise which is used to keep in contact, a harsh tee, and a chirr of alarm. Threat posture. In an aggressive display, a blue-tit threatens other birds by raising the feathers on its head to make it look bigger. And you can just about see that at the bottom here, how he's got like his top feathers coming up on his head. Got a blue-tit there, and that's a lovely picture. Blue-tit there. Fast food. The content of your nutbag. Oh, I read that bit. An apple a day. When a blue-tit feeds on windfall apples, they are not only interested in eating the fruit's flesh, but will tunnel through to get to the seeds. Bird table. Peanuts, seeds, fruit, fat, meat, and assorted scraps are eaten. The blue-tit is one of the most agile garden birds and is fun to watch as it feeds on hanging baskets, tip bells, suet sticks, half coconuts, or strings of peanuts. The diet comprises of insects in summer and a mixture of insects and seeds, especially beech mast in winter. Buds are stripped in search of small insects. Aphids and weevils are often eaten, but caterpillars provide the bulk of the food needed for rearing the nestlings. Blue tits sometimes visit willow catkins and the flowers of gooseberries, currants, and other garden plants for nectar. A natural resourcefulness enables blue tits to take advantage of changing crops, while their tameness allows them to exploit food deliberately or unwittingly left out. Once a feeding method has been adapted to suit a new food, blue tits quickly learn from each other, as happened with their habits of stealing milk. One of the many foods that attracts blue tits are any seeds, and blue tits squabble over their shares of a bird pudding. Nesting. Nest building starts with the female chirping at the entrance of a hole or crevice, even if it's suitably sized hole in a nest box. The time taken to collect materials and build the nest varies from a few days to several weeks if work is held up by bad weather. The nest of moss, dry grasses and small twigs is lined with fine grasses and feathers. Nest box. Blue tits are among the most frequent users of the tit boxes. Large clutch. 1 egg was laid each morning until a clutch of 10 eggs was complete. Nesting information. March to June. 1 or 2 broods, 5 to 12 reddish fleckled white eggs, 14 days incubation by the female, 18 days fledging, and 4 weeks until independent. There's the eggs there. So I've got little red speckles on. Don't know how you can see it. There's the birds eating the bird pudding. And there's the bird going through the middle of the apple to get the seeds. So I hope you learned something about blue tits today. Oh, I didn't tell you the length. 11.5 centimetres, which is 4.5 inches. So that's the bird of the day. Oh, we've got lots of comments over there. Let's have a look at the comments. Let's go back a bit. I don't know where we are. Where were we? Here. Blue says, at the moment, my front yard is covered in white powder. Oh, yes. And looks like the cartel lost a kilo or two because I sprinkled dolomite on it this morning. So it's been snowing. We did lime on our lawn. We don't have grass. You might see green, what looks like grass, for about 2 months max here. And then it becomes like desert for most of the time. Steve says we're getting lots of chickadees at the moment. Hey, we have the Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla in the house. Hello to you. Guys, do go and check out their awesome 2 channels. Also check out Scrappy Acres, which is their growing channel. And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe. So let's go on to number 4. Let's go on to number 4, shall we? Do you want number 4? Let's find where number 4 is. Here we go. And before we do that, I just want to remind you that I did a funny community post on this channel a few days ago, but I haven't done another community post since, I don't think. So it will be the last one. And it's asking you to identify some flower bulbs. Go and have a look at that. Don't forget, drop me a comment while you're there. So let's play a game. What should we play? Let's see. Should we do Would You Rather? I think we did Would You Rather last time, but let's do Would You Rather. Let's do Let's do a couple of would you rather and then we switch. Let's do a mash-up of games today. So the first one, serious question. Would you rather peel 50 oranges before you can use your phone for half an hour? Or would you rather peel 50 potatoes before you could use your phone for half an hour? So basically, would you rather peel 50 oranges or 50 potatoes? Depends really on the type, because some oranges are easy to peel and some not so much. But I don't mind peeling a potato. Steve's saying potato. Blue says don't mind either. Not really, no. Well then, Blue, you can do 50 oranges and 50 potatoes. Yeah, I don't mind either. As I say, as long as they're not those oranges that are really hard to peel. Sometimes you get an orange that's really hard to peel. And also for me, it's very hard for me to peel small potatoes. I just can't really hold them and manage to peel at the same time. So if they're nice big potatoes, I don't mind peeling that. And then obviously that all goes on the compost. Would you rather have a parrot that keeps repeating one joke all the time, or would you rather watch a really bad ventriloquist for an hour? Would you rather have a parrot that keeps repeating the same joke, or would you rather watch a bad ventriloquist for an hour? Which would you rather? Well, hopefully you get different jokes from the ventriloquist. Where are we? Blue says cool, but I'll do it tomorrow because I just finished getting dinner done. You're so funny, Blue. I love your humour. Gypsy Vanilla Gorilla say use a peeler on a hot dog and it fries up like bacon. Ooh, I don't like bacon, but I like hot dogs. I was editing the other day on my other channel. I do full videos of funny signs. Sometimes I post an odd one from elsewhere on this channel on the community page, but on Tranquility Through Life's Natural Beauty, I do full videos of lots of different funny signs. And one of the ones I was editing was, IKEA or IKEA, depends where you're from. In Cyprus, we say IKEA because that's how the Swedish say it is IKEA. They have these massive advertising signs hanging from the ceilings in IKEA, massive ones, and they have the big sign up of the hot dogs that you can buy the hot dogs there. And the whole picture is a massive hot dog. And underneath it's written, not actual size. Not actual size. Oh, we have Ginny's points in today. I've just saved to watch your, where did you go? Dollar store. I was trying to think which shop you just, dollar store. So I've put that in my watch later. So I will be watching that, Jeannie. Guys, do go and check out Jeannie's Point and subscribe while you're there. Our question is, Jeannie, would you rather have a parrot that keeps repeating the same joke over and over again, or would you rather watch a bad ventriloquist for an hour? In case you're wondering why people are talking about ventriloquist. Blue says the bird. Most ventriloquists freak me out. Yeah, not as bad as clowns. I'm not this clown phobia that a lot of people seem to have. I just don't like them. Yeah, they're just weird. Some of them are a bit weird, aren't they? Blue likes the idea of Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla to use a peeler on a hot dog and fry it up like bacon. That's good because here we don't get like English bacon, like how you have bacon. We don't get that here, very rarely. what they call bacon is something else. Doesn't look like bacon either. Steve saying ventriloquist just to make me say it. Steve saying save some money, I don't need to buy bacon now. I think bacon can be expensive in some countries. Jeannie's not letting me down. She's saying the bird with her emojis. Love it, Jeannie. Blue says no, clowns are seriously not natural. I'm you, hun. Yeah, I wouldn't say I've got a phobia against clowns, but it's weird about them. It's like unfunny, like slapstick comedy. A lot of that I don't like. It's just silly, not even funny, silly. You know, like when they've got two people carry a ladder and they turn around and someone has to duck, then they come up and no. Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla saying a clown ventriloquist. I'm going to say that's Gorilla said that. Old Car Junkies in the house. Hello, Dawn and friends. Guys, do go over and check Old Car Junkie. He's got quite a little mixture of different things. He had a lovely, I think it was a short, or it might have been a video of what his daughter's doing for him. So go and check that out. And while you're there, subscribe to Old Car Junkie. Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla say bacon. I can't even say that because I was reading pork, so I said bacon. Bacon is this sliced pork belly. Steve said, I used to wear a clown outfit when I worked in circus. When I was employed, I worked as an educator for some time, and that was when I had my accident, and long story, but I went back to work and they hadn't fully realised what my situation was, what was wrong with me, that I had serious brain damage, long story. So I was at work. Anyway, you obviously have to be off and you've been tested and things are going on with you. And work were basically doing this thing that I think a lot of countries do, but England, you've only got so many days you can be signed off. Then you have to go back for at least so many days before you can get signed off again, and so on and so forth. And when I went back, my doctor, who wasn't known to be a soft doctor, he was like quite strict and people were scared of him, but he did his job. He'd say, what's wrong with you? And you'd say, and he'd sort it out. That was that. And he said to me, Dawn, he said, he put his hand on me, but not in an odd way. He put his hand on me. I was like, oh. He said, Dawn, he said, I'm pretty sure you haven't got down that you work in a circus. So I went, I don't work in a circus. He goes, oh, these people employ you, bunch of clowns. I was a 10th hand, says Steve. Blue says it could also be the back line and both pieces together. Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla say I can do circus tricks. Always wanted to join a circus. Guys, if you joined a circus, what would be the thing you would want to be in a circus? What would you be if you could be one thing in a circus? I've always wanted to do it. I did acrobatics as a child, wasn't very good at it. I didn't have a bendy back. Didn't get very far with acrobatics, but I always wanted to be an acrobatic, not like trapeze, not that, like contortionist, but not a full contortionist because that's not good for you, but like acrobat, that's what I would be, an acrobat. I'd be an acrobat. What would you guys be if you could be something in the circus, like a circus act? What would you be? Steve says circus was very hard work. I'm guessing now you're speaking truth, Steve, because I'm always waiting for the punchline from you. So I think Steve really was. I'm like, I've been waiting for the punchline, Steve. So I think that's fact now, Steve's speaking. How long did you work for them for? And yes, it is hard work doing the tents. Blue's saying back bacon is the loin at the top of the belly, and the belly pork is the streaky bacon. And when you have both pieces together, it's middle bacon, which is way more popular in Australia than the others. There we go. My title is Learn Something New Today, and thank goodness we have Blue to teach us some interesting things there. I'm not very good with meat cuts and knowing what's from where. I have said this before. When I was a child, you used to get those like mini cocktail sausages. I thought they were piglets' legs and normal sausages were the adult pig legs. I was only about 10. I used to think those little cocktail sausages were pig legs and normal sausages were the adult pig's legs. Steve saying, here we go, we're learning from Steve now. A tent peg is a car half shaft. Interesting. Yeah, I read it as loin. You're right, Blue. And yep, Steve, I read yours as peg. Oh, Blue said she'd sell the popcorn. That's sweet. One of the girls I went to stage school with, she was in my older sister, in her class, and she did go to work in a circus, like a proper circus, doing acrobats and contortionism and all that. Jeannie says, laugh out loud. Blue, Blue's back here second, have to bring in the bin. Well, if you like. If you want your bin indoors. Oh, like you've emptied the bin. Okay. Fact, says Steve. Yeah, I always wait for a punchline with you, Steve. I bet you've got some interesting stories to tell, Steve, about that. Be interesting. Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla. This is from Gorilla. The guy that catches and throws on the trapeze. Wow. I can balance good, so I do a few acts. I'm good with large animals as well. Wow. I think a lot of them do that anyway. They have to do several parts in a circus. Steve says 6 month in odds, had no money. Wow. Old Car Junkie, Teddy says, thank you, Dawn. You're a big support pushing my channel. Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. I was talking before you came on about how I help channels grow a bit and keep coming on their channels and pushing people there. And then I might disappear for a while, but always remember I'm going to other small channels and helping them along as much as I can. Steve had to clean up after the elephant. I bet you wish then that you knew people with homesteads, they would take that. What did you do with it all? Because was it a static circus or a travelling one? If it was travelling, did they give it to farms? Teddy saying thank you to Steve and Tina for doing the link. That's a big job in more ways than one. Travelling. Yeah, so what they do with all that stuff? They do with it all. Goodness. Trash bag, poop bags. People could see if they did clean up after them. Oh dear. Okay, let's do another would you rather. Would you rather be in a dunk tank at a fairground, or would you rather be on a roller coaster on a fairground? So would you rather be, I just see Jeannie's emojis, would you rather be in the dunk tank sideshow of a fairground, or would you rather ride on the roller coaster? Jeannie's done an elephant, a poopy, the face, and laughing, crying. Oh dear, that's funny. Oh, that's really funny. So I would rather be on the roller coaster, though I'm not allowed to obviously do anything like that anymore, but I certainly wouldn't want to be in a dunk tank. I don't do good. I can swim underwater, but that's not good for me anymore to be in that headspace underwater. but certainly not dunked. I've never dived in water. So dunk tank, no. I wouldn't like to jump into the sea or anything like that, as in off a boat. So certainly not dunk tank, so roller coaster. Gorilla I'd like both, but let's say a roller coaster dunk tank, that would be cool, like those log plume rides, but you get totally dunked. That would be cool. No one's done that one yet. You need to patent that. Get the copyright of that quickly, Gorilla. Yeah. Yeah, it's not just splash, go in splash, go totally under. That would be funny. Okay, I said I'd mix up the games today, so let's see. Let's do questions. What is your best advice ever? It can be to do with anything. It can be funny or not. What is your best advice ever? Car Junkie says roller coaster. As a young person, I can't swim. Yeah, you're like me. Whatever the water involves, it's a no-no. It's a roller coaster. Yeah, as a young person, I think you're like me. We just can't really do that anymore. We can't do that anymore. Yes, and my brain damage was caused on a fairground ride, but it wasn't a dangerous one. So it just shows you, people say, oh, avoid the dangerous ones. It doesn't have to be a dangerous one. No. Best advice from Steve: treat everyone as you want to be treated. That's good. Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla, I swim better than I walk. Wow, you're quite the mammal. Get on with the animals. Is your name Noah? Is your name Noah? Best advice. Best advice. Well, I've said this before. It's not technically advice to all. I'm going to give advice to a group, and the group is, let's say, government, any government in any country, every government in every country, or rulers of every country, presidents or whatever. And I'm going to say, change the law on wages. I've said this before. If it's a fun job like actress, sports person, I know they work hard, give them the lowest rate of pay. And if it's a terrible job like working in the sewers or dangerous jobs for people's utilities, give them the best pay. That is my advice. That would really change the world, wouldn't it? How many people would still want to be personalities if the money was just minimal wage? Yes, let's see. So that would be my advice to specifically rulers of countries. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to say. That would be what I would do. So Steve's got treat everyone as you'd want to be treated. That's pretty good. That's nice. Okay, another question. What group do you think you were in school? So, for example, was you the geeks? Was your group? You didn't have to be in a group, but what would you have said you were? The sports people, the SWATs. What sort of group would you say you was of school? Was you the boffins, we used to call them? Do any of you say boffins? Boffins. What would I say? I would just say the friendly group that welcomed any new people and was friends with anyone. I wasn't a SWAT. I certainly wasn't a sports person. Wasn't into that at school. there wasn't computers in my day, so I wasn't like one of those geeky type people. And like you get some like groups of girls, don't you, that are all like what they called the like they think they're the elite group. No, wouldn't have been that. So just a friendly group, just a friendly group. That's what I was. It didn't really have cliques, but then I did go to. Oh, sorry, just knocked you with my knee. What's I going to say? Going to say poor farmer, poor farmer. Yeah. Oh, that's what I was saying. Yeah, I went to an all-girls school. You didn't get cliques and things like that, really. There, not really. You just all had your little groups of friends. I think it's more boys that become the different groups like that, I would think. Oh, this is a hard one. What is the best book you've ever read? That's hard. Well, I have showed it before. I've done a video with me reading it. It's my pop-up book of The Christmas Story, The Night Before Christmas. Just because I like pop-up books, and I like books that you sometimes get where they kind of like a pop-up book, but when you open the page it will be a full house or something like that. I think my sister had it was like a sort of little doll house that when you open the book it was a whole house and you could turn the book round so you got different sides of it and you could play with little, I think they were little press out people. So, but that's not a reading book. So pop-up books. I like reading any books that are about Cyprus past. I've got quite a little collection of those now. And the book that I'm reading at the moment, which is just a Ruth Rendell sort of murder mystery type book, detective book. And they just mentioned that someone had just come back from Cyprus. Like, ah! So yeah, I do like books about Cyprus. I like books where it's people relocating to another country, like the real story rather than a fiction. I like non-fiction, so true stories, people. But best book I've ever read, I would say Just That Night Before Christmas, and I've still got it. So that would be for me, I think, my most favourite book for sure. What skill do you wish you had? Ooh, where do I begin? I would like to be able to do things like, again, I went to an all-girls high school, so we didn't learn skills like carpentry or metal work. I wanted to go to a mixed senior school, high school, because you could learn skills. I'm more that sort of person. So I would like to be able to make things. Favourite books. Teddy from Old Car Junkie says Bible, cover to cover first, but the death of John Kennedy. Right, so Bible cover to cover first choice, but then the death of John Kennedy. I like, do you prefer the New Testament or the Old Testament if you had to pick, Teddy? Do you prefer the Old Testament or the New Testament? And I did my A-level in religious education. I did an A-level in that, and yeah. Adventure books for Steve. Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla. Memoirs of a Mountain Man. Oh, I don't know that one. Read fast. Fly helicopter is the thing Steve would like to have the skill of. Oh, well, I'd like to jaunt. Do you know what jaunting is? Not jousting, jaunting. It's from the Tomorrow People. You know, I always want to travel, not in time, although that wouldn't be too bad, but I just want to get place to place instantly. So it was a program in England in the early 70s, and they used to put their thumbs in their belt and then they used to jaunt. So they used to go somewhere else, jaunting. So I'd like to be able to jaunt. Steve saying John Muir down in California. Teddy saying I like the Old Testament for the history. Steve saying Flashman Papers. He's talked about that on my lives before. Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla. I always wanted to be a zookeeper or work in natural resources. I like nature and animals. I always said one of the things I wanted to be was a zookeeper. I'd forgotten that till you said that, because we weren't really allowed pets as children. Yeah, I remember saying that. And I used to love Chessington, what is now called World of Adventure, which is in Surrey in England. And when I was younger, it was only a zoo. It was called Chessington Zoo. There was no rides or anything else there. And I always said to my mum, I could be a zookeeper because that's not too far to go to work. I wouldn't want to work with dangerous animals like lions and tigers and that. Yeah, so what skill would you like to have? Well, I've said about like gymnastics and that kind of thing. As I say, I'd like to be able to make things from metal and wood, and Mike can do that. He's brilliant at that sort of thing. What else would I like as a skill? I think I would like to be very, very, very extremely good knowing everything about computers, how to do things with computers, as in know all the loopholes and all that. That would be quite good, just to not just go like, not a hacker. What is it when they just know how to do everything? Not a tech. I don't know what's it called, but just like you give them something really complex. Can you do that? And done. That's what I'd like. That would be useful. Steve said, I won't go to a zoo now. Best to see them in the wild. Although a lot of the safari things aren't so good either. Nerd. Nerd, says Steve. Nerd. Yeah, I think that probably. I've always said I wanted to play the piano. I can kind of do something on keyboard. I don't think I could do that anymore. I don't think I could play the keyboard anymore, but I've never learned, like been taught. But just to play anything on the piano, that would be pretty awesome as well. Yes. Gorilla saying some animals would never make it in the wild. No, certainly not. Certainly not. Another question to ponder. What makes you smile? What makes you smile? Well, you guys really do. I was really down today. Just come on here. Change. Shame, says Steve. Very true. Blue saying, sorry about that. I'm back. We'll stop speaking about you now then. Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla. Zoos do need to do better at habitats, though, at times. Chocolate, says Steve. What did I ask? Oh, what makes you smile? What makes you smile? Chocolate, yes. Our Steve is a great lover of chocolate. I would send you some, except for the fact it would be completely melted by the time it gets there. I'd send you some of my different ones that maybe you don't get there. What makes you smile? A good joke, although that makes me laugh rather than smile. Just going on my mountain walks. I only walk round sort of my village and up a little bit. I don't go like miles and miles walking. Just to see nothing, just scenery, as in landscape. I've shown you so much of it. If you don't know my area where I live or what I'm talking about, go on my playlist. I think it says something like Mountainside Walks in my village in Cyprus, something like that it's called. Go on the playlist. You will see. You will see. You can see it all from my house as well, from my garden, but just to walk further up or down, but up's better. Walk up there and just see that one of my favourite places is, it's just over there. There's a great big canyon, like a canyon. It's a, what do we call it? What's the word now? Think canyon. Think canyon, because I can't think of the word. And that's just over there. You just walk and it's massive. It's so deep. Ravine. That's it. It's a ravine. And I can't get too near the edge because my perspective will be gone. But you can see it all. I filmed it quite a few times. That's probably my favourite place to walk. It's a lovely walk too there. But you wouldn't know it. You come here and you wouldn't even know it's there. So if you ever come and stay with me, I will definitely walk you there. It's not too far. It's no steepness. It's pretty flat to get there. As I say, it's on the level with us. If you look at my location on Google Maps, let's say, home in really close, then expand a bit, and you'll see it looks like little shapes all around where I live, like edges of islands, and then another bit, another bit. We can't walk from there to there for miles. There's ravines everywhere and old riverbeds, but steep. I'm not talking about a little riverbed. I'm talking about meters down. So you can't just walk straight anywhere. You have to walk for miles this way and come back. So if you want to find me on Google Maps, obviously go to Cyprus or type in Olive Farm Retreat, Cyprus. Then you will see it flags up, Olive Farm Retreat, Cyprus. You'll find me. And then, as I say, go really close and then slowly pan out. And when you get that bit, I think they do it on Google Maps because I use geocaching map. When you see the landscape, you'll be like, oh, it's like we live on little precipices. So, yeah, it's not like, where are we? Car Junkie, Teddy says, watching grandkids figuring things out. That makes Teddy smile. Yeah, I like things little children say as well. So sweet. So is River, bad boy. Blue says, people enjoying the food I create for them. Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla. Dad jokes make me smile if they catch me off guard. Was you here when I did the joke today? Or I think you might have come in just after that. You're like that. Go back and watch that. Rover. Right, that makes sense. Rover, bad boy, yeah. Steve and Tina, getting an old motor to run. Yeah, I bet you weren't smiling till it did. Got a few that need work. Gypsy and Vanilla Gorilla, my grandbaby makes me smile. Yesterday I'd say no, and she'd shake her head. Yes. She's 7 months old. That's funny. Steve and Tina say nice. What's the time? Let's do one more. What is something you will never forget? What is something you will never forget? Well, I've got early onset dementia, so probably everything. Something you will never forget. The first day we came here to look at the place, I will never forget that for sure. And we just couldn't believe that it was in our grasp to have it. I mean, you compare what we've got here with, let's say, just properties in England, and you'll be like, wow. I'm sure some of you watch and see my place and think, God, that was a lot of money. Let me tell you, it was not. It was not, nobody wants rural places. No one wants it. Everyone's moving away. And that's part of why there's so many abandoned properties in this village, because the young generation of the generations who had it before, they're not interested, not even to do up and move away, because you've got to do them up, keeping the look and all that. So you can't like over modernise it outside or anything like that. Let me tell you, you'd be absolutely shocked if you knew what we paid for this. It was nothing. Nothing. No. It was only 2 numbers before the 3 zeros. Let me say that. And it was low. Steve and Tina say, watching kids being born. Wow. Watching kids being born. That's got to be something. Hopefully your own kids. My kids, that is. We're on the same page there. Steve said my kids, that is. Oh dear. I mean, you can see it on TV now, things like that. And it's, I think, as you say, when it's yours, I would say, yeah, because you've produced that. That's quite awesome, isn't it? When you think you made that. That must be pretty awesome. What else? Something you'll never forget. That's what I was going to say. Well, I'll hear more about that, honestly, because, you know, it's a thought. What are we talking about? What are you talking about, Blue? What are you talking about, Blue? What comment are you talking about? Want to hear more about that? Are you talking about that no one wants to live here? I know people talk a lot about France being cheap. Yes, there is still a lot very cheap in France. Spain, if you live more up rather than by the sea, inland, yes, you can get very cheap things there, but you have to watch like legalities in Spain. Portugal, there's still a lot of rural stuff there, but as I was talking about the other day, be careful because it depends on who's in, like the local mayor at the time, what they say you can do, and then you'll get a new mayor in and they follow the law. So you have to be careful there. Have a nice, not quite finished property on my property, and it needs someone who would enjoy gardening and prepping. Honestly, Blue, you need to come over and have a look. Yeah, you could have the run of my land, Blue. You could have the run of my land. Because we were talking the other day, if we get one of the bits of its outbuildings, one of the bits is what we use for the volunteers, and that is, I have filmed it to show you where the volunteers stay. That we also is usable if people come and stay. That's only got a double bed, and it's got double bed. They cook outside. It's got like a sofa, 2 armchairs in there, so that. But the other bit is what we're renovating whenever we get salvage stuff or that kind of thing. So it's not a fast build, and it's just when we come across, we got a couple of years ago, maybe more, we got some old tiles and anything we get, we can add to it and do that. We were talking about that bit. Eventually, we wanted to make that into holiday accommodation. It would do 4 people because that's going to be all its own thing. It's going to have a shower room with a toilet and a sink. Then there's another room there that's a double bedroom, big. And then there's another room which is kitchenette, sofas, which will be a sofa bed, so we could have 4 people there, and seats and dining table, so that's really nice. But the rules have changed, not just for Airbnb, but for any of those type of things. If you're renting them out, you have to pay over €200 before you even rent out now. And basically you're then in this tax thing and all rules and regulations, and they come and inspect, and we don't want to do it full time. We were just having people for a few weeks and whatever else, so we can't do that anymore. So now we're going to have this property on our land that isn't much use because we can't rent it. So we're keeping the other one for volunteers, or if anyone did come and stay with us for now, they can use just the double bedroom separate bit. But this one with its own kitchen, shower room, etc., what we're saying now is, well, we're looking for, if something happens to us or if I deteriorate too quickly, either someone coming and living in for free rent, but they help us out when we need it, whether that might be drive us to the shops if Mike can't drive anymore, or it might be just, I don't know if we need cleaning done, but just be there, take over the garden, because to be honest, I'm not sure what I'm doing about the garden now, but they can take over the garden. Really looking for someone who's interested in doing the garden, but can also do anything we need doing bits and pieces. But they'll have their own property, they have free run of the garden, and they can grow their own food and prep it, whatever they want to do. But there will be someone there, as I say, maybe for driving, if Mike can't drive anymore. If he can drive, then we don't need someone to do driving. And that's really what we're thinking. So it's kind of, when we get it finished, it's kind of our insurance for our future life, let's say, or if one of us gets left behind, one of us might need help. So yeah, so we're considering saying, remember we're on solar, so there's not bills to pay, and basically someone could live there for free for helping us. It wouldn't be all day every day, but when we need help, we'd sort out some arrangement of when and what, and that's what we'd do basically. So yeah, basically looking for someone who is a homesteader, maybe on a small scale, but wants to come and live somewhere like this and do it on a big scale and without paying for the land, if you like. That's kind of where we're thinking. Where was I up to on the chat? Here, Teddy said, someone paid for my daughter's prenatal hospital bill of thousands of dollars. Wow. Was it someone you knew or what? That's interesting. Jeannie's saying, where I live, the cheapest house is around 450k. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of properties here that you've got to pay several million euros for. Depends where you go and what type of property. So there's a lot of property here that are just dreamland prices. I think it's anywhere. You've got different places, millions and millions of pounds for some properties here. Stephen Tina saying 450k is a low price here. Car Junkie said, I pay 4,200 per acre. This is another thing, that it depends here how you're buying it and who you are. So I don't know how far back you've looked at some of my videos, but we've had volunteers that come here, and some of them are coming here for me to help them find properties or land or whatever they want. Now, I often say to them, don't just go and buy property. And I give them advice such as, it's easier if I find out the property and the real price. If they just come in and look as foreigners, they're not going to get the same price. So you've got to know what something's worth paying and what it's not. When was that, says Steve? Teddy says 1987. Goodbye. Yeah, there's no set price really for anything here. It's you say how much you want, And if someone pays it, great. If they don't, then they don't. Some people that aren't bothered selling land that they've got, like plots of land, they just put a silly price on it and sit on it thinking one day someone might buy it, but they're not bothered. So you've got that situation. And there is no, for so many hectares or acres, it's a set price. It's not. You just say what you want. You could have two plots of land right next to each other, exactly the same, and they will be completely different prices. There is no set price, not at all, not at all. So I couldn't even say to you a price because, as I say, there's a plot of land near us. Wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. I know it's completely priced wrong, and they're going to sit on it. Jeannie saying vacant land here is from 10,000 to 20,000 per acre. Yeah. Jeannie, where my last videos were made on Siesta Key. Yes, look at it. That's a video I watched. Yeah. And here it's not even where it is. As I say, you can have two plots of land right next to each other in the same location, completely different prices. It's not where it is. It's just what price they want to charge for it. As I say, someone might want to be rid of their land, so they sell it cheap. Views here. You don't pay for a view. No, I don't know all your countries. A lot of countries, the price goes up if you've got a good view. Remember, we're a tiny island. Most places will have a good view, unless you're right in the middle of our capital city. Most places will have a good view, whether that be mountain view, sea view, or just pretty view. You don't pay more because you have a view. It won't affect the price at all. Won't affect the price. So yeah, certainly. And the other thing is to not go through estate agents. I'm not saying the legality side of it. You get lawyers to do that, but an estate agent will put a huge amount on top here. So you don't. You go to an area that you quite like the look of. You go in the local coffee shop and you say, do you know if anyone's got whatever you're looking for, land or flat or property on land, whatever you're looking for, and they will tell you where to go. That is the way you buy here. But as I say, Cypriot, asking a Cypriot will be better off. I always speak Cypriot when I'm asking these things for other people. Helps a lot. Helps a lot. When Mike was looking to buy here initially for a holiday home, when we said yes to one that he quite liked the look of, and then they went, oh, you're not making an offer. You don't really do that offer thing here. So we're like, no. And they're like, no, we're not set for that price now. Obviously, it's too low because you said you paid that price straight away and it went up. That happens a lot as well. These go up. So, yeah, it's very interesting. But as I say, if you're interested in somewhere here, go and look at areas, and the more rural you are here, the cheaper it gets, which in England it's not always so, because people want countryside and space. So it varies. Jeannie says, makes me sad because the average American can't afford to live on the islands here. Just the property taxes alone are nuts. And I guess you guys have all seen possibly in the news about Spain and other Spanish islands now. They're getting fed up with people from other countries buying not just holiday homes, but they're buying homes to make money and rent out. So the Spanish are actually being outpriced in their own country. So there's lots of roping off roads now and lots of things. If you haven't seen anything about that, then just type it in about Spanish tourist and that kind of thing. Something will come up. Right, I'm going to leave it there because I've gone way over my hour. Way over. We had a very interesting chat there. But definitely, if anyone knows of anyone who might be interested in what I've suggested, with view, like someone who's probably interested in doing homesteading or something, skills would be good, as in prepping and that kind of thing, but not necessary. Okay, so I'm going to finish. Thank you for being here. Thank you if you're watching this back later. Appreciate that very much. And I will see you again here on Wednesday. Hope you can join me. That would be really good. Just checking the last chat. Jeannie saying they call it flipping. That's what they're doing here. And Blue says, very interesting. Definitely something to think about. Take it easy. Yeah, chat. If you've got questions, you can email me and I'll do my best to answer. It's flexible at the moment. Flexible. So, yeah. Okay. See you next time. Bye for now. And Meraki. Oh, I'm just reading the last of the comments. Because I'm ahead of you, I have to sit and just wait for the last bit of the comments. Thanks for being here, guys. Really appreciate it.